Hello there. So, what helpful treasure could be more precious than gold? We'll talk about that today. Hi, I'm Diane, and I'm here with your Joy Tip of the Week. So, let me know if you're watching. Give me a thumbs up or a heart. We're going to talk about something that was a great treasure that was gifted today. So, let me know something. Post in the comments and tell us something that you received as a Christmas gift that was just very precious to you, even more precious than gold, and we'll be glad to share that great information. So today we're going to talk about historically what was given to baby Jesus at his birth. We all know that the scripture tells us that the wise men brought gold and frankincense and myrrh. And so we're going to talk about a little bit about the frankincense and myrrh today because everyone knows the value of gold, right? Well, the interesting thing is during that time, the frankincense and myrrh were treasured just as much as gold, if not even more. It was something that only royalty could have, or wealthy people in the community had. Frankincense and myrrh and essential oils of all kinds were actually used as commodities for trade and buying and selling slaves and land and even livestock. And so having this frankincense and myrrh was very valuable to the baby Jesus and to his parents as the wise men gifted this great treasure to them. The other thing is that it was very well known that these were great healing oils, that they had properties that would help the baby grow healthy and strong and help the mother heal. And so it was just commonly known back then that this is what you did when you had a child. And so basically, what it was common in the day was to anoint the child, the baby, as soon as it was born as an infant, from head to toe with frankincense. And so that was just a common practice. And then they would use myrrh to heal the umbilical cord. They would help the mother with her healing. She would use myrrh as well. And so it's just something that was tradition in Egypt and in the Middle East. In fact, there is well documented papyrus and different things that we've found from those centuries ago that says that the Egyptian tradition says everything or frankincense was good and is good for everything from head to toe. And so we're going to talk about these two gifts a little bit more today and what they mean now for us. Frankincense is just an incredible oil. It's a very costly oil because it is so hard to source. There are actually 42 different kinds of frankincense trees. And a tree has to be at least, I want to make sure I get this right, it has to be at least 40 years old before they can harvest the resin from the tree. And so, these are ancient substances that are being turned into essential oil. And what they do is they cut the bark of the tree a little bit so that the resin comes out, and then they scrape that resin off, and then you get I don't know if you can see this, but they get little pieces of resin, and then this is turned into essential oil as well. Now you can use the resin too. In fact, a friend of me a few years back gifted me with a resin burner. And so I will put the resin in here and it's a very low heat and it burns that frankincense resin, and the aroma just fills the place, and it's just an incredible aroma. Again, that's the frankincense resin, and I think all tree resins look very similar to that. There are other essential oils that are created from tree resins, but I think it's interesting that you have to wait till a frankincense tree is 40 years old before you can start harvesting that resin. And so it's already got all kinds of nutrients, and it's all got all kinds of experience, and it's been subjected to lots of different elements, and so it's got powerful components to it. And so a couple of things to take note of is that what has been researched the most and what has been found to have the most therapeutic benefits are two different frankincense oils, or boswellia, something like that. And that is frankincense carteri, which is available from Young Living, and then also frankincense or boswellia sacra, which is sacred frankincense. So frankincense, as I said, is distilled from that resin. And then the sacred frankincense sacra, or the boswellia sacra, is also distilled from resin. It's just a different tree, a different kind of tree. And Where these are sourced, this one is sourced from Africa. And then the Sakra, the Boswellia sacred frankincense, is sourced from Oman. And the thing that's kind of cool is that we now have a Young Living distillery in Oman, and it's distilled there, and it's the first time ever that Omani frankincense has been available to anybody outside of Saudi royals or the Omani people. And so it's very fortunate that we have this frankincense, that's sacred frankincense, available to us. So as far as the difference between the two, I find that the frankincense Cartari has a lighter aroma. It's bright almost to me. It's not very woodsy as you would expect from a tree oil, but it's very light and bright to me. Now, the sacred frankincense has got a lot more of the alpha-pinene in it constituent. That's the chemical compound alpha-pinene. And so it's a little more deeper, fuller, not quite so bright fragrance. So that is the difference between the two. Now, how do you use frankincense? Well, my favorite way to use frankincense is as a part of my beauty routine. And a friend of mine gave me this great recipe. Morgan, I give you a shout out here, Morgan Dammert. She has a recipe for facial glow serum. And she includes 5 drops of frankincense essential oil, the Cartari, 5 drops of copaiba essential oil, and then 4 drops of blue tansy. And then she adds that to an ounce of jojoba oil. And I have found that that is amazing. Now, I wear it mostly at night when I go to bed, but there have been times I've worn it during the day too. That blue tansy in it can give you like a blue tint to your face. So if you do wear it during the day, you're going to want to let it soak in real well, or else you'll look like a Smurf. So, but I just have found it to be very helpful because frankincense is known for helping to create an even skin tone. It helps with blemishes. So some of the things you can do, add it to your facial moisturizer to help reduce the appearance of fine lines and wrinkles. I'm at that age where I'm wanting to not have those as often as possible. So that's why I like to put it into my beauty routine. It's very soothing and calming. So to having it at night as part of your routine is terrific as well, whether it's in your diffuser or just inhaling it or in a linen spray, anything like that. A lot of people like to just add it to a carrier oil, like Young Living's V6 is a complex carrier oil, or jojoba oil, or coconut oil, almond oil, any of these kinds of things, and just use it as a massage oil because it is so helpful for the skin and for just healing all over. It's just a great soothing, calming aroma, and it helps your entire body. So it can promote relaxation in your diffuser at bedtime. You can apply it to the back of your neck, to your temples. I like to diffuse it, or I actually like to just take a drop and drop it right on the top of my head before I start reading the scriptures or before I spend time in prayer, because it just has this melting feeling for you. It just kind of makes you calm and focused and able to concentrate and have that spiritual connection when you have those spiritual moments and times during the day. So that's how I like to use it. Now, myrrh is a little bit different. You can see my myrrh bottle is a bit a mess because myrrh is a very thick oil, and I would recommend if you get myrrh, when you get myrrh, to take another carrier oil, either Young Living V6 or jojoba oil, anything, coconut oil, and just put it around the strips of the top of the bottle. Otherwise, your lid will stick, and you won't be able to get any more myrrh out, because when it oxidizes, it just gets very sticky, and it's just like glue. It's just going to hold that lid right on there. But myrrh is also a wonderful oil. Young Living myrrh is steamed, distilled from resin of a tree grown in Somalia. It's got the highest level of sesquiterpenes, which is another chemical component that is, and the sesquiterpenes has a direct effect on the hypothalamus, the pituitary, and the amygdala, or the seat of our emotions. So it can be very helpful when you have different emotional things that you need to work through or concentrate on. I thought this was interesting. Myrrh is great for skin. It's great for oral hygiene, embalming. It keeps insects away. In fact, the Egyptians, again, I don't know if you remember, they had big cones that they would wear on their head. And what that was a cone that had fat in it. The fat also contained myrrh. And so what would happen is through the heat of the day in the desert, that fat would kind of melt, and that myrrh would then melt and cover their bodies and give them protection, soothe their skin, and just do all kinds of good things for their bodies. So that's why they would wear those big cones on their heads. So today, myrrh is valued not only because of its beauty properties, but also in a lot of colognes. And that's surprising to me. I guess it's because it's such a deep aroma. To me, it's more of a base note. It's got a very woodsy, more of a woodsy aroma to it. And so I believe it's used in a lot of different colognes and things because that when those base notes hang on to the aromas that they're paired with longer. And so I can see that as a great perfume or cologne enhancement. So the other thing that I would point out is that myrrh is also mentioned in the Old Testament in the book of Esther in chapter 2, when she and all the women are preparing themselves to appear before the king for him to choose a wife. They had 12 months of a beauty routine that they went through. 6 months of their routine was including myrrh essential oil, and then 6 months of spices and ointments for the women. So even in ancient times, they knew what a great beauty enhancement myrrh is. Now, I have taken myrrh and I have put it directly on my face. I have used it as part of my beauty routine. I've mixed it with my lotion and my moisturizer. But I will tell you, you have to be careful because you need to use genuine grade. I only use Young Living myrrh or frankincense. I have a friend. I was teaching a class at church all about the oils of the Bible. And I mentioned that I use myrrh on my face. So she went out and bought some myrrh. I don't know what brand it was, but I know it was not Young Living. And she just called me all upset because she said that she put myrrh directly on her face and immediately she was red and swollen and inflamed and it was not good. Well, I have never had that experience with Young Living myrrh and I use it all the time. So be careful of what brand, what you're using. You know, essential oils are just not really regulated. And so you've got to be careful and get that genuine grade oil that you know is very, very pure. So some of the ways to use myrrh, my favorite way to use myrrh, this time of year, my nails start getting dry and brittle. I'm in Michigan, and so with the coming on of winter, there's no humidity in the air, and everything starts getting dry. And so I just love to take and drop a drop of myrrh essential oil on my cuticles and just rub them in. Just rub it in all of my cuticles, and I find that my nails do so well when I have myrrh essential oil rubbed in to my cuticles because they're not dry anymore. They have that moisture and that's locked in with that myrrh. So that's a great tip for you. And then also, you know, you can add, like I said, to your skincare routine. A lot of times people have dry scalp, especially in the wintertime. So add a few drops of myrrh to your shampoo or conditioner to help keep that irritated scalp a little more moisturized. A lot of people wear it in conjunction with other things as a perfume because it does have that staying power. It helps that aroma to stick with you a little bit longer. And then it's also obviously a great reminder of the Christmas season because it was a gift for Jesus. And we know that myrrh is great to diffuse as well. And I like to combine it with frankincense and maybe sandalwood. Or another great combination is myrrh and orange and frankincense, or myrrh and orange and pine. There's just lots of different combinations that you can try with what I call the oils of Christmas, frankincense and myrrh. So I'm thankful that you've watched today. And again, I'd love to hear from you. What were some of your most treasured gifts that were more valuable to you than gold that you've received at Christmas time? It'd be great to hear from you. And I would love to hear that special gift of yours. So thanks for joining me for this Joy Tip of the Week. And we will be here again next Tuesday as we wish you all a very Merry Christmas and happy holiday season. We'll talk to you next week. And remember, joy isn't something that simply happens to you. You have to choose joy and keep choosing joy every single day.